I got my 25% discount at what do you call it? Voldemort World. I got my 25% discount coming up Thursday and Friday, so I can you're able. This is funny because they give you what they give you your quote unquote Christmas present, and it's a 25% discount that you're only able to use on Thursday or Friday. So if you don't use it, on any one of those days, then you're fucked. You don't get it basically, and you get everyone has a Walmart card that works at Walmart. And so whenever you want, because you automatically get 10% off of most things in the store, you know, and so whenever you go to pay for your, stuff, you swipe your little Walmart card and you get your 10%. So when they give you your 25% discount, instead of giving you a separate card, what they do is they add the 25% discount to your original card, for the 3rd and the 4th. Now, if you swipe your card for any reason, if you forget and say, hey, because it gets to the point now where it's like neutral. Whenever I go to pay for anything, I always swipe my card. So if you forget and swipe your card for any reason and pay for a pack of gum, you're going to get that 25% discount off a pack of gum and you're fucked. You're done. So you basically have to, for that 3rd or 4th, once that discount comes in, you basically have to, go, okay, cool, I can't use my card until I'm ready to use my discount. And make sure you don't use your card. So you get 25% off of one purchase. So whatever you purchase, whatever you buy, you get 25% off the total. Like my first year I worked there, that's when I got my iPad. So with that 25% discount. This year I'm not sure. I'm like, I don't even know what I want. I was thinking about maybe Xbox One, but then I'm like, I don't know. I haven't really played video games since I started getting pussy again. So it's like, it's true. It's not. It's kind of stupid. It sounds dumb, but it is true. Since my last serious girlfriend, it was like once we started dating.
There's no need for video games.
It wasn't even the situation of there's no need for video games. It just stopped on its own. Like I just stopped going to video games. It wasn't even like a mental I'm going to stop. And it wasn't her saying you don't need to play video games because she liked playing video games too. It was just a natural thing. When we started dating and we were together, my time was spent between my music, my photography, my art stuff, and her, and that was it. Like it was just, there was no going to video games. But ever since we've broken up, I haven't really reverted back to going to video games. Now all my time is, whenever I have time and I'm not working, my time is my music, my graphic stuff, my art. Like, I just automatically go to that. I don't go to video games anymore, which is kind of weird because I still love video games, but I just don't go to it anymore like I used to. I could sit and play 6-7 hours and play video games. I sit there for 6-7 hours and play a game. Now I can't even.
I mean, most kids right now, man, they spending like hours and hours, especially on like Warcraft and games like that, or like
and
there's a lot of war games. Yeah,
I still love all those games. I still love everything about gaming. I love everything about gaming. I don't believe that whole nonsense about you get older, it's a child's thing, you grow up. Nah, fuck that. That's bullshit. I think that's some shit people like to sell you. You know what I'm saying, when they don't understand. I love games, and I'm sure I'll get back into it eventually. But it just seems like right now, it's not working for me right now. You know what I'm saying? Like
but everything in moderation too. I mean, that's why I brought up like kids right now, because I know a young person right now. I asked him, I know he plays a lot of video games and stuff, and usually when like the family gets together or whatever, it's like, oh, where's so and so? He's at the house, and he just locked his room playing video games. So I asked him when I actually do see him, like, how often you play on the weekend? Oh, on Saturday I play for 12 hours, and on Sunday I play for 8. And I'm just like, damn, keep in mind this guy he's in high school. He's not in the best shape. He eats horribly. He eats like pizza and a lot of fast food.
Yeah.
And he's playing video games all the time. He's a smart kid.
Mm-hmm.
But again, everything in moderation. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, I tell him, there's nothing wrong in playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between, this is a guy who, he's opened up and talked to me about, like, I want to make money off of you. I want to be one of these YouTube guys who makes, has millions of viewers and makes money off that. I'm like, well, you're not going to gain that just playing video games all day. Like, at least if you're going to play video games all day, try to think about how you could design your own video game.
Well,
because he's at that age where he's like thinking about all these different things that he would want to do that are non-conventional with society or whatever.
Well, the one.
I'm like, listen.
There's one thing that I thought of that I wanted to bring up last time we had a conversation, and this kind of goes with it basically. Like what you're saying, like, there's a way he can turn his video game playing into making money. That's nerds rule the world right now. They always have been, but now it's the in thing. Back in the day, nerds always ruled the world, but no one cared about it. Now it's the in thing. So nerds do rule the world, and the thing about it is there's tons of people out there that make tons of money off of playing video games. The thing, what he needs to do, he needs to turn his video game playing into a YouTube channel. I know a girl that I went to high school with back in Orlando. She dated a dude who makes his money. He's older than me. He's probably about my age, but a couple of years older. And he makes his money. Like, he's got a nice house. He had an agent and a business manager. And all he does is he has 2 YouTube channels. He has one where his camera just follows him around, and his daily thing. But his real bread and butter is a video channel where it just follows him playing World of Warcraft. And he's got a video channel where it videotapes him going in and showing people how to do certain things. So like when you're playing World of Warcraft and you're like, damn it, I'm on level 35 and I can't beat the Dragon Slayer Master and I don't know how to get past this level. He has you go log into YouTube and you type it up and his channel will come up and go, this is how you get past that level, and you'll watch a video of him doing it.
That's interesting.
And he's making 6 figures off this YouTube channel, son. Like getting paid off this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he even had a dude that he's got I think he had like a 3-bedroom house that he pays for and everything. And one of the bedrooms he rents out for free. The guy that stays in that bedroom is his videographer. The guy that takes his videos and edits his stuff and puts it together. He's got another guy that holds the camera and follows him around when he does his other stuff. He's got his whole thing set up. I was jealous as a motherfucker. I was like, damn, that's fucking dope.
I wouldn't be surprised if this young guy knew about these guys, because he told me about these guys before, like certain other cats who are like, man, they video themselves doing like dumb shit all the time, and
but see the thing,
and they have millions of viewers, and it's like,
the thing about it, which I had to think about, I was watching this one movie channel that I love to watch, Collider Movie. Where they do stuff, they review movies and stuff, and I love watching their show on YouTube. And one of the guys who was on the show, he made a comment. He was talking about, and I wanted to bring this up to you about the schooling situation as well, but it works with this as well. He was talking about like somebody had written in. And
Are we recording? Are we recording, by the way?
Oh yeah, we've been recording.
Okay.
But he had this person who wrote in, and they basically asked the question, because the guy who was working on this Collider, one of the guys at the time, he went to school for movie directing and film and all that stuff. And this kid typed in, it was like, yo, do you feel like it's important for me to go to school to learn film? Or is it not that important? Can I just go out and do it on my own and learn for myself? And this guy, who went to school, got his degree in film and all that stuff. He was like, no, it's not important. He's like, honestly, there are fundamentals that you can learn from going to school. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what separates someone who goes to school versus someone who doesn't go to school, and this is the thing that kind of hit me. He says some people are some people are self-starters, and some people need to be pushed. You know what I'm saying? Some people can get up every day, never go to school, but figure out how to do whatever it is they need to do and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Versus the guy who needs to go to school to have somebody tell him this is how you need to do it and then set him on the path. You know what I'm saying? So it's the difference between the self-starter, the guy who gets up and grinds and he'll do anything and he'll talk to everybody and he'll learn any business he needs to learn from the inside out, you know, never stepping foot into a classroom, versus the dude who needs to go and have a teacher go, this is the chapter you need to read, Billy, and this is what you need to learn, and this is where you need to go, and this is who you need to talk to. You know, and when I heard him say that, I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? So basically, there's a difference between a self-starter or a self-motivator, is what he said. A self-motivator, you know what I'm saying, and someone who needs to be motivated by someone else. And that hit home to me, because I was like, damn, that's one of those truths that you need somebody to tell you that you don't want to believe. I'm not a self-starter, and that kind of sucks to learn. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I have all these ideas and things that I want to do, but they're not going where I need them to go. Why? You know, okay, I have to wake up and realize they're not going where you need to go because you're not motivating yourself the way you need to be motivated. You're waiting for someone else to do it for you, and that's a tough realization.
Listen, what you just said is a lot, because I have thoughts on a lot of what you just said. I mean, in terms of the whole going to school versus, you know, I guess real world experience or just going out and getting something, you know, number one, human beings all need motivation somehow. I mean, this whole imagery of the self-starter, I mean, I think it's a really small minority, I'm willing to guess, that are considered true self-starters.
Yeah, I agree.
Motivation.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But at the same time, they get their motivation somehow. So maybe based on what their circumstance is, or maybe a dire need to do something. Like a lot of millionaires who were, you know, acquired their wealth from probably, you know, inheriting it, or, you know what I mean, being in the right place at the right time, and failing to acknowledge that, you know, some of their situations have put them in a privileged position to start a business or to develop that idea. You know, a lot of them would have you think that, oh, it's just within you. Like this, you know, this is just something that you're born with. And no, these things are cultivated and developed. So, you know, just getting back to the original thing about the education versus non-education, I don't think the two have to be mutually exclusive. Because, you know, like we were discussing the other day, a formal education provides you with certain tools. Like in terms of you value certain things in a wider instance, as far as like, you're supposed to know how to source your information. You kind of, debating is a skill. When you're trying to get your point across, debating is a skill. You can't just say like, oh, I know everything, and not respect another person's point of view. Those are certain things that I gained from my formal education. And I think that there's this counterculture that is always trying to paint higher education and higher learning in a negative light. I mean, anybody would tell you who has graduated college, that's a grind, that's a hustle. It takes a highly motivated person to do that too. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're sort of like this robot, or you're, succumbing to just being a part of the wheel, as they say. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of varied learning in college that doesn't happen at the, tertiary and high school levels. Because when we go through, we grew up in the hip hop era. A lot of hip hop artists, they would say like, teachers aren't teaching us, and the schools are failing us and stuff like that. I mean, that's real accounting in certain neighborhoods. Yeah. And you could almost guarantee that at certain education levels, like middle school and high school. But when you get to college, if you're privileged and lucky enough and fortunate enough to get to college, and there's no doubt you have to work for that, to get the grades and stuff, you'll find that it opens up to a lot of different types of learning. I went into college with a lot of cats who were literature majors, and they came out with music production degrees because they figured out that, well, let me take this class in music production. They figured out what their niche was. You know, college gives you certain things like connections. You know, a lot of professors, and I'm not even talking about the top university. I didn't go to a top university. I went to a state university in upstate New York. Mm-hmm. A lot of those guys, as you know, I'm just using the music school as an example, they did their years. They did their numbers in the music industry. You have a lot of guys who used to be conductors. You have a lot of professors who used to be music producers. Like, part of the core requirement, the curriculum is you have to take like a performing arts credit or whatever. So, you know, we all took music 101 or whatever. And the guy who was teaching that course, like, he told us he co-produced for so-and-so, like, recognized artists. So, you know, college gives you more than, you know, from people from the outside looking in and who fall into that whole counterculture of, well, I don't need that. You know, again, college has its value, but it depends on what you take from it. Because, again, there's the dark side of college. You know, huge climbing, you know, escalating tuition rates, making it, you know, unaffordable for a lot of people not to have that opportunity. You know, not to mention the fact that you might have that experience in college that is horrible. You know, it's not meant for everybody. Yeah. So, you know, I always say, like, several things could be true about one phenomenon. You know what I mean? And you don't just need college education. That doesn't give you everything. You need that real world education on top of that. So I would say that education never hurts. You know, it never hurts you to push yourself and to learn something new, even from a different, varied point of view that you never thought of, because it might give you a new idea. Now, my hat's off to those people who don't need that. And I've come across in my, you know, ways of being and stuff like that, that there are like a handful of cats. And, you know, when I say cats, I mean women too, who they don't need anybody they're true self-starters. You know what I mean? Like, no formal education, probably read 3 times more books than I did. You know what I mean? They just go out and get it, and they're doing well for themselves. So it's not to say that you need it, but the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I you know, my thing is, what you're saying is what I agree to. You're talking about the counterculture, people who feel like, or who say that it's not needed. You know, I don't agree with that, but I also don't agree with those people who say that you have to do it. Like, if you don't do it, then you're not doing it. Right, exactly. You're not giving yourself the best.
Both are forms of extremism.
Yeah.
And they're very subjective points of view. And one thing that our education system doesn't do, which I think college, at the college level, and again, I'm making a general statement, this is not true for all colleges, but one thing that college does do is give you a more varied approach to learning versus, you know, at the middle school and high school and elementary school levels, because a lot of people would have you believe that this is something you have to do in order to be successful, and that's not true either.
Exactly.
However, if you do it, if you do go through that, you know, stats have shown that your earning potential tends to be higher. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody that goes to college is going to earn higher salary. It doesn't mean that. The probability, though, you know, the correlation of you going to college and in your lifetime making a certain, you know, amount versus somebody who didn't go to college is higher. So a lot of people look at that and say, well, that investment is worth it, and they pressure their children and younger people into doing that when some young people aren't really cut out for that sort of thing.
Yeah, because
when I say they're not cut out for it, it doesn't mean they're not brilliant in their own way.
Yeah.
It just means that that's not the form of learning that speaks to them.
Yeah, because for me, I feel like you know, every person is different. There's a person that'll go into a college situation and they're wired for it. They're wired to tackle that battlefield that works for them. You know what I'm saying? Then there are other people that are wired differently. Like, you know, it's just like the difference between the person that needs to be, like, I'm the kind of person that if you're going to teach me something, I learn better if you show me it physically and then you let me do it physically.
I'm the same way.
Versus there are people that there are people that
visual learner.
Yeah, there are people that can read it in a book and just go through it a couple times in the book and they'll be fine. And it's like I can't do that. Like I can read the book fine, but until I do it with my own hands a couple times, it's not gonna sit in my brain. Like I'll forget about it. If I just read it, it'll go in and it'll go out. So until I actually apply it physically, it's not gonna stay with me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it doesn't sink in. So that's the thing that I have a problem with. Some of those people that are extreme toward the school side, where they're like, you have to do this way if you want to be successful in this world. This is the way it works. You don't got a college degree and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, like you said, not everyone's cut out that way. And then it also kind of goes to the whole thing where I think maybe schools need to start presenting themselves just a little differently, because it's like those kids that
a lot differently.
Yeah, those kids that don't feel they're cut out for that kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? They just automatically say, nah, it's not for me. When they might be able to do it. They might be able to do it. They might work if a school out there were to present itself. Listen, there's multiple ways to learn. You know what I'm saying? Come to the school here. We'll there's ways you can do this. You don't have to come through and it's not like a freaking meat grinder where we're gonna shove you in one end and just gonna spit you out however we feel like it on the other. We're gonna work with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those things. Like for me, after high school, it was like, I don't know if college is for me. Like, I'm just not that dude. Like, I don't do it that way. I like learning.
It's so interesting because my younger brother, similar to you, very creative dude. He played me one of his beats that he made the other day. He has his little setup just like you do, with the Bruce Wayne setup with all the machines around him, beats and everything that I don't understand. Like, he put a lot of money into his musical equipment, and now he's studying music production or whatever, right? And he's telling me the same thing. Like, he doesn't think that this is for him and that he's not cut out for that. So while I respect that, I sort of have to look at this, objectively and say, well, I think you guys needed the exposure. Like, somehow, some way that was missed upon you guys. Because I think that you could excel in a college program if it was centered around music production or the arts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, we know each other from high school. I just think you're that brilliant of a dude creatively. I've always thought so, and I don't tell that to a lot of people. You know what I mean? Because as you know, I'm very critical. I'm a very critical person. And if something sucks, I'm really like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And my brother's a very creative guy. He's into the film thing, and I'm getting into the music production thing. And I'm trying to just have an honest conversation with him to consider possibly doing a 4-year college, education after this, because I think that it would, again, he's a very creative guy, but he needs a certain amount of structure and discipline to succeed. And when he was involved in his film program, it was sort of a college, it was very rigorous, it was sort of a college type atmosphere in high school. So he excelled at that. And given his own devices, he's like, oh, I'll finish that beat when I'm ready, or when I feel the creative juices flowing, I'll get around to it. But the dude, he could do some great things, man, just like you. So I wouldn't necessarily totally discount it. But what's even more interesting about what you said is the fact that sort of given the idea that the society sort of chews you up and spits you out if you don't go along with the program. For the most part, I really, really agree with that, because one of the things that I've always believed is that not only, we're talking about the difference between people's learning styles, but we also need to look at the years of development with people. Like, there are some people that are late bloomers. There are some people that don't really hit their stride and their niche into their late 20s or late 30s. And society doesn't really, and when we say society, I'm talking about like the current educational system and structure and success structure, right? You go to school, you do the right thing, you get into a good career, profession, and then, in your 30s and 40s, you should be pretty much, at a level where you could take care of yourself. You're thinking about, or if you haven't started a family, you're thinking about it, or you're, investing in some property or whatever. That structure doesn't work for a lot of people in that timeline, because there are some people that are late bloomers. I wasn't I wasn't necessarily. I tell people this all the time. I started college when I was 17. Really, my first halfway through my first semester, I turned 18 because my birthday's in November. So I started college early. I don't think I was really ready for college, man. There was a lot of things on my plate at that time. I had to, work almost a full-time schedule going to college and stuff like that. So it really distracted me. My grades weren't the best. And that haunts me to this day. And not everybody is ready for those type of opportunities at a certain age.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes you a while. I've read probably 10 times the amount of books I read, right after college than I read in college. You know what I mean? Because around my mid-20s or whatever, I started sort of falling into this groove that, okay, this is what my interests are. This is what I'm going to read on my own. And I'm going to explore this side of myself. And, I read, a variety of different things that I didn't get to do in college. And if you think that, and, having said that, just as an international perspective, I was just having a conversation a couple months ago with this gentleman who's from the Caribbean, and we were talking about the education system there. And he reminded me that education system is even more so chew you up and spit you out because, a lot of Caribbean schooling is based upon the British system. And the British system, I don't know the exact details, but you pretty much take an exam like at the middle school level, which determines your future. You know what I mean? And it's a very difficult exam or whatever. You take that exam, and then that will let you know what level or what quality high school you go into, right? I'm sure they don't call it high school, whatever.
Yeah.
And after that, you take another exam to let you know if you're going to go into like a service industry or go on to like college and, excel at education and, possibly get into politics or business or whatever. So they pretty much weed out everybody at a young age. If you're not scholastic and book savvy at a young age, you're pretty much going to live, middle class, lower middle class, to working class existence. But if you get that early, then you have the opportunity to live an upper middle class to, existence. And, while we think this society is harsh in the way that its education system is set up, we also need to remind ourselves that look at what other people in other countries are doing based upon still like a colonialized system.
Well, the thing about it, like with the UK system, the placement test situation doesn't necessarily, it's definitely still archaic. You know what I'm saying? But the system, basically allows you to see, quote unquote, what you're good at, but it doesn't place you.
What your strengths are.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't force you into a situation. So even if you're not good at this, and as far as a placement test is concerned, doesn't mean you can't still go for it. You know what I'm saying? It's just their way of trying to, I think it's just a mind fuck. It's just their way of trying to go, look, you're not good at that, buddy, so you might want to go ahead and be a janitor. And then for those
don't waste time.
Yeah, don't waste your time. So for those who fall into that, I guess you're right, then they just go that route because they don't have any fucking balls. You know what I'm saying? And the same is said for the American school system. Our school system, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? What you said earlier is what it really boils down to, as far as it's a grind. And the thing about it is you don't really get to a point where you're able to take advantage of that grind until you really get to college. Maybe a little bit of high school. You know what I'm saying? But mostly in college, when you get a chance to really take advantage of, okay, this is a grind, and I'm gonna be able to get out of it what I put into it. You know what I'm saying? When you're in middle school and all that other shit, it's so regimented. You're just there as long as you pass your fucking test, as long as you regurgitate everything that's said to you and you pass your test, you're fine. But it's not till you get to your later years, maybe in high school, depending on where you go, and mostly college, where you're able to like go, okay, I'm gonna be this hustler. I'm gonna hustle my way through it, and I'm gonna decide what I'm gonna get out of this situation.
But keep in mind what I said though. Like, not everybody takes advantage of that opportunity either, because
of course.
Again, I didn't. And there's some people who, the irony of the whole colonialized system or whatever, or the British system of education, is that it benefits the larger society very well. You know what I mean? It's like everybody knows their place so early, so there's not that friction. You know, there's not that hunger to say, I want to be in those shoes one day. How could, like, who do I have to step over to do that? You know, like, what do I have to do? It's neat. It's organized. It's like you were put into that box early. Stay into that box. I'm over here driving the Benz. I will drive the Benz. You know, one thing about American society, you know, there's a lot to criticize about it, but there's also it has a lot that is redeeming about it, which is it's messy. You know, what we're talking about is it's messy, it's dysfunctional, but you have those small cracks where somebody can make 6 figures posting a YouTube video of them playing a video game. You know what I mean? Like, you have those small, tiny sections where people could slide in and create opportunities for themselves because they wake up from the matrix and they say, hey man, like, I have other wants and goals. I don't want a 9 to 5. I want something else. At the same time, you have other people who are like, I need a 9 to 5. I need that structure. I like going home, you know, at 5 o'clock every day, and I like having my weekends and stuff. You know, I was having a conversation with one of my cousin's wife, and she's an accountant or whatever for Price Waterhouse, I believe, or one of these places. And she was telling me, and keep in mind, she makes decent salary. I'm assuming, she never told me exactly how much, but she's been there for a little while. I'm assuming she makes anywhere from like 80 to 95K, right? Very, very decent living. However, you live in New York City, so you have to take out the cost of living adjustments, right? Yeah. But she takes the train every day. She goes to work 9 to 5. You know, she takes the vacation days. They take the little vacation. That's all she needs and wants from life. She's like, Sean, I don't have any big career ambitions like you. I'm happy going to work every day and coming back home and getting my paycheck. You know, I don't want somebody. Again, you know, I reached a point in my life where I'm like, you know, I need to be my own boss. Yeah. Because you know, this is not for me and everything like that. I want to earn my worth. I don't want somebody paying me what they think I'm worth. Yeah. That's just my personal opinion and point of view. Yeah. You have other people that need that regimented structure. And that's the thing about American society is like, it is great because on paper, that's how things are supposed to run. But there are certain things about the system that deny a great number of people those type of opportunities. Yeah. So it's messy. It's really messy. You know what I mean? It's really dysfunctional and messy, but somehow it works. Some people are able to get through, but I don't think enough people are able to get through or realize their dreams. I mean, how many people you know are love Monday? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I gotta go to work. It's Monday to work this time. You know, and at the end of the week they're praising Friday. Like, you know, I feel so bad for those people because there's no worse feeling than hating the week to start. And like, you should appreciate every single day.
And that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why we had this conversation about, you know, Orlando. Like, for me, that's what Orlando represented. It was like, you know, a lot of the people that I knew from high school, and I'm not knocking them, you know, if they love the life that they're living, fine, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it was like, it was just that regimented. It was like the same thing every day. It was, you know, all anyone ever looked forward to was the weekends. That's all anyone had.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's all everybody had.
Your every day was about waiting for that Friday. You know what I'm saying? I just got to make it through the Friday.
That's right. I just got to make it to Friday. And then Saturday comes, your weekend is half open, and Sunday's like, oh, work tomorrow. Yeah. And that's just not Orlando. That's everywhere.
It is. You know? It is, and, of course.
You know, and unfortunately, some people prefer that. Yeah. But other people, they accept it, and there's a big difference between the two of those things because we've also been sort of, in my mind, you know, propagandized to think like, oh, you're an adult, you have to accept responsibility, you have to pay bills, you have to get a job, and blah blah blah. Yeah. And a lot of people sort of fall into that and they say, well, I wanted to be a painter, but that doesn't really pay the bills, so I just have to go this 9 to 5. You know, some people try to make extra effort, and they find like, you know, this task is bigger than me right now. Like, they'll try to do the 9 to 5 and paint on the side, or start up the little creative, you know, hobby on the side. And by the time they come home from work, you know, put their kids to bed. Like, you know, most people have children, and you know, in their 30s or whatever. You know, that I know anyway. They're exhausted. So they can't really put that full creative energy into their side until that could sustain them. I sold like 3 paintings this month or what. Like, they can't even crank that out because they're so busy paying the bills. And I think that's more of a structural deficiency than people realize. You know what I mean? Because you do have some people that love the status quo. They love this. There's nothing wrong with the way things are set up. Either you make it because you can cut it, or if you can't cut it, step out of the way. You have some people that are just like, I don't really like everything, but it's the only thing I know, so I have to go along with it. And then you have the people on the fringes who are sort of the rebels who say, man, fuck all this, man. Like, there's more to this. There has to be more to this.
Exactly.
And if you're in a position where you get to that, sort of enlightenment, that you're like, I want more for myself, you better hope and pray that you don't have certain odds stacked against you. Because, again, we're getting back to probability. The probability of somebody coming from a certain background makes it a lot more difficult to really realize some of your dreams and goals. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you grew up, sort of like, I don't know, upper middle class, and you're already, either you're being groomed for something already, you have resources that, enable you to sort of harness a lot of your skills and talents and stuff. I know a lot of, I know a wide range of people, right? Some people have more resources they grew up with. Some people, their parents put them into, tennis and hockey and skiing and chess club and, a lot of other activities that take a certain amount of resources to explore some of these skills and talents at a very young age. If you're coming from a background of poverty, you don't necessarily have that opportunity. Maybe you grow up and somehow or the other you make it through, you grow up in, with not having much. And you realize that, hey, man, I want more for myself. Well, you have a lot more odds against you because that person who grew up, sort of privileged or who had certain resources, at their disposal, it's not their fault that they grew up privileged. That's fine, It's a good thing. But they're able to capitalize upon certain goals and dreams a lot faster. The probability of them succeeding is a lot higher.
Yeah, they have less stress, less worry.
That's the only thing about when you strip away the ideology of what we're talking about and get into people's personal lives. You understand that everybody's situation is so different,
Yeah. I mean, we fall into that whole trap, which I think is by design. Like we talked about earlier with schooling and the debt situation. It's made to put you into a situation that forces you to kind of have to go with the status quo instead of being a little adventurous and saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do this because this is what I love. Well, you're like, well, I love this, but I can't afford to do this because I got, car payment, I got bills, I got school debt that I got to pay back, I got, all these bills that are coming every month. I can't afford to be adventurous and go out and do what I really love. I gotta, pull it in and hold tight, and I'll get to the thing that I love to do someday. You know what I'm saying? It's that whole someday mentality. I'll get to it. Don't worry. First, let me pay off my credit cards, or let me pay off my school debt, and then when I do that, I'll get to it. You know what I'm saying? And then before you know it, you're in your late 50s and you're still trying to get to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, because there's going to be a new bill around every corner. Unless you're one of those people, which they do exist, where you go, I'm going to do everything I can to minimalize my life. I'm going to cut down on my bills. I'm going to cut my credit cards down. I'm going to do everything to cut back, and I'm going to live as minimalistic a life as I can so that way I can do what I really love to do. It goes into the next thing that we wanted to talk about, which we'll probably just go ahead and transition into that, is the whole consumerism virus, the zombie virus that is Black Friday. You know what I'm saying? The whole consumer thing, the fact that, I feel like it's just ridiculous. Like, I mean, it's not only is it the hilarious that people don't, I don't even know if they don't realize or if they just don't care, You know, I mean, Black Friday used to be literally on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Then media and not just media, not even media, more businesses and the industry decided, you know what, we're going to do as much as we can to get the most out of it. So we're going to make it Thursday and Friday. You know what I'm saying? Not just Friday anymore. Now it's going to be 2 days. So now we're going to make Black Friday on Thursday, which is Thanksgiving, the day that you're supposed to be spending with your family. But instead of being with your family, you're waiting in line for a fucking 60-inch television. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fight some.
Or grabbing it from a little kid.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the video. I mean, the video, right, you know, that's been circulating all over the internet is ridiculous. I mean, it was a Walmart, you know, and people were stealing TVs out of other people's shopping carts. You know what I'm saying? And the one guy, this one big dude, elbowed a woman in her face. You know what I'm saying? Just to grab a TV out of her hand. I mean, it's pandemonium, man. Like, it's just ridiculous that people get to that point where they got to fight each other. And then again, like I told you, the what happened here at the Walmart in my area when my mother was working there, and she saw this guy as a father. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he was black or white, which really doesn't matter. But you know, it's like he was a father. He had his daughter and his wife with him. And I think from what I understand, the daughter was crying and kind of, you know, didn't want to shut up for whatever reason, you know, and she was, I guess, got on his nerves, and he decided how he was going to handle it. He slapped her, and she fell to the floor, and then he proceeded to roll his cart over her and continue on his merry way. And then he dared
Are you serious?
Yeah, he rolled his cart over her, like over her.
Wow.
Like on her.
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like on her, over her. You know what I'm saying? And then dared the wife to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, you better not touch her, you better leave her there. You know, on the floor crying. You know, and my mom was like, you know, there was a bunch of the people, Walmart people standing around, and they wanted to do something, but Walmart, as far as Walmart's concerned, they can't do anything. They can't step into that. They can't do anything because they'll lose their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Automatically. They'll automatically lose their jobs. You know what I'm saying? So she doesn't know what happened. There were police on the premises. Whether they took care of it, what they did, I don't know. Because she basically says she walked away because she couldn't stand there and watch the situation because she wanted to cut him. You know what I'm saying? So she walked away. So she doesn't know how it ended. But what she saw was what I said. Like, this guy, you know, in the midst of this whole craziness that was Walmart, you know, instead of dealing with your children, that being the priority was getting whatever television or electronics. That was his priority, you know, and to get her to shut up, you know, he basically did what he did. He slapped her, rolled his cart over, and went on to the next sale. That was
yeah.
So we were gonna talk about that.
There's no compassion in this story at all.
No, I mean, and that's the thing. To me, it's like, okay, you know, I mean. You know, it's easy to say now, but imagine if you were standing there in the Walmart and you saw this dude do this to his daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
the thing is, if you were there, you would be busy getting your own shit, so you might not even notice it.
No, of course, most people didn't notice it. I'm sure most people didn't even notice it because everybody was more, you know, worried about themselves. You know what I'm saying, and what they were trying to get out of the situation. So yeah, most people probably didn't notice it. That's probably why he didn't get jumped. That's probably why he didn't get jumped immediately after doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, because I would like to think that if the majority of people saw him do that, he would have got his ass beat. I would like to think that. I would like to think that people would have stepped in and did something. You know what I'm saying? Immediately.
I think for the most part, people, I mean, somebody would have came over there, and, you know, or at least a couple people that came over and be like, hey, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
It makes me, it reminds me of that song by Dead Prez, The Animal and Man. I think that's the name of it. It was on that first album, Let's Get Free or whatever. It talks about the animal and man and how we're sort of controlled and brainwashed to a certain extent. You know, we're being ruled by a sort of psychological dictatorship or whatever. It brings out, you know, they tell us what we, I guess, you know, the powers that be, they tell us what we should want and what we should need, and we go for it. We tear ourselves apart for it or whatever. But, you know, on our own conquest or personal gain and personal power. But it's the thing that's I am fascinated every single Thanksgiving, man. Like, you know, because of Black Friday. And it seems to me that Black Friday has taken up its own sort of following more so than Thanksgiving. You know, Thanksgiving is America's biggest holiday. It's not affiliated. It has to do with America's history. You know, as warped as that is, you know, because we are sort of, you know, not all of us are as informed of, you know, the history of Thanksgiving, which we're not going to get into that right now. But Thanksgiving, for the most part, is, you know, in modern day times, it's a time that you spend with your family. You know, you celebrate it with a lot of food and supposed to give thanks, and you know, it is symbolic of the harvest that was previously done by our forefathers of this country and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And food is supposed to, you know, signify abundance. You know, you're supposed to give thanks for the abundance in your life, and you know, the ability and you know, the energy every day to go out and be healthy and to live or whatever. And Black Friday is bigger than Thanksgiving to me. I mean, this is just my personal opinion, but I hear more about Black Friday. Yeah. And you brought up such an interesting point that it has sort of grown like cancer and spread to Thursday. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like Thursday, it starts from Thursday evening, and that is insane to me. I would like to know, again, these videos are crazy. I mean, some of them are shocking, some of them are just downright hilarious.
Yeah.
What is it that gets into our psyche that people who market these things to us, what is it? How do they know how to get into our psyche and make us believe that this is what you have to do?
Or this is
because
okay.
You know, Christmas season is coming up. Mm-hmm. You have to get these gifts for your children and for yourself, or else you're not worth anything.
Yeah.
So you have to go and get these things. If you have 3 TVs in the house, you have 3 flat TVs in the house.
Yeah.
One of them is hanging from the wall. The biggest one is hanging from the wall, but you need that new one. You need that new and improved one.
And I can tell you just from my own personal thing, and this is something I've had to check myself on, even on Black Friday. When you know, when I went, my mom worked on Black Friday. It started at 6:00, and you know what's really funny. What's really funny, you talk about the whole psychological aspect of it. You think about what it's called. Black Friday, the 6:00 when the sales start, it's called the Blitz. That's what it's called. It's called the Blitz.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Really?
So it's already setting you up psychologically for something. You know, which is really weird. Right. It's really weird. You think about it, like, well, it's called the Blitz? What the fuck is that about? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but
right.
6:00 rolls around.
Triggers. Yeah. Triggers. Yeah.
6:00 rolls around, and you know, everyone's setting up, getting ready for it, and I'm standing there, you know, talking to my mom before the whole shebang happened, and I'm looking at these sales. I'm looking around at certain sales. I'm like, damn, that's a good sale. Like, you know, you got a 4,000, 5,000 milliamp power juice battery that I could use for my cell phone, and you know, for $9. You know what I'm saying? That usually would go for $20-something. They're selling it for $9. I'm like, yo, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So I can tell you from personal experience, walking around looking at some of these things, in my head I'm going, I would be stupid to not take advantage of these price drops. You know what I'm saying? It's like, in my head, it's almost...
It's unbelievable sales. I mean,
yeah.
You're going to get an unbelievable bargain.
It's almost like the consumer... The consumer in you that has been developed from day one of being in this society, the consumer, you know what I'm saying, that is within you, is kind of looking at it going, you're dumb for not taking advantage of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you not take advantage of these price drops? You know what I'm saying?
It comes around once a year.
Yeah. Why would you not want to take advantage? You know, I've always wanted one of those juice packs, but I never bought one because I'm like, you know, it's too expensive right now. I really don't need it. Like, I get back to traveling, yes, I'll buy one. But right now I'm not traveling like I used to. So it doesn't make sense for me to spend $30 on a juice pack right now. You know what I'm saying? But now, Black Friday, I'm standing there looking at it. It's $9 for a juice pack that I wanted. $9. I could buy 3 of them for the amount of money that I probably would have bought it regularly. So I'm looking at it going, why the hell not? Hell yeah, I want to buy that. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm sitting there thinking maybe I should stick around for this. But the more and more I'm looking around, I'm seeing people lining up in the lines, and I'm seeing people, standing around, and I'm looking at this whole situation going, I don't want to be a part of this shit. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want anything to do with any of this. You know what I'm saying? So I left. I left. I was like, no, I'm good. Right. I'll get it when I need it. That's basically what it boiled down to. I will need it one day, or I will want it, and when I want it, I'll get it. Right. But I'll figure it out when the time comes. I don't need to go through this whole rigmarole and this bullshit just to get a fucking juice pack for $9. But the consumer inside of me, the consumer beast, the consumer zombie, you know what I'm saying, is sitting there going, dude, what are you talking about? It's $9. Like, you need to buy this. Why wouldn't you buy this? You know what I'm saying?
But we also, another angle to that too is who exactly are in these stores doing all of this? Do you think, the millionaire is in that store?
No, of course not.
Things from people, you know what I mean? You think people who are in high society, so to speak, quote unquote, are bothering themselves like that? I mean,
they don't need to.
It gets back to the whole that term that you created called sheeple or whatever.
I wish I created that one, but I didn't. But yes,
that disappoints me too, because it's the masses of people who, again, it's a paradoxical thing, because it's smart to get those discounts. It's just intelligent to go out there and to pay a third of something for a product that's going to cost you, if it wasn't this Black Friday discount, it would cost you 3 times the amount. Yeah. I mean, and like you said, it's like, it makes sense. It's good. But then you look into the store and see the chaos that you have to go through to get one. Yeah. It's like, this is not worth it, So at the same time, it's like, how do you expect people to react when most of the year you can't get these type of deals? But at the same, and probably half the things that people are running after, they probably don't need. But there are probably some things in there that people do need at a large discount. It makes sense for them to go in there and to knock some people over for. But on the other side of that, you have some people who are living in this, who's sharing this space with us here in the U.S. They don't get involved in that because they don't need to.
No, I mean, the money doesn't matter to them.
It's very, I don't know. I think that's very sad if I really think about it hard enough.
It's unfortunate that, like you're talking about some of the things that people might need to a point, at the same time, not so much, because I when you work in these kinds of situations, you look at what goes on sale. It'd be different if everything in the store went on sale. You know what I'm saying? Because there might be people that need quilts. There might be people that need stuff for their bathrooms or toiletries. And the only thing that goes on sale is certain electronics. That's all. Then you get certain things, like certain clothing, that'll go on sale. But what I saw from my own 2 eyes, is that a lot of the clothing that goes on sale, and even a lot of electronics, to be honest, what it ends up being is them trying to get rid of their surplus. You know what I'm saying? It's like they have to make room for the new stuff that's coming in. There's new stuff that's going to be coming in, new TVs, new equipment, new clothing for, the end of the Christmas season. So they try and unload as much of their surplus as they can, make more room in their storage areas to get the new shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how it works. You buy a new TV today from the Black Friday sale, and then Christmas rolls around, they unload the new TV, the newer version of the one you just bought for Black Friday, comes out around Christmas time, or comes out in January or some shit. The newer version. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just them getting rid of their stuff that they got from summertime. Leading into the winter time, they get rid of whatever excess stuff that they don't really need, and they pour it out on the floor and make you seem like you're getting something for it.
I never thought of it. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all psychological. Like you said, it's all psychological. If I walk into a situation and go, hey, buddy, I got this, freaking CD, DVD movie here or whatever, and normally it goes for $50, but I'll sell it to you for $10. You're like, well, I'll be stupid not to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to buy it now, even if I don't really care for it. Why the hell not? Even if I never watch it.
Yeah.
It's $10. Like, why wouldn't I buy it? Like, I've been in those situations so many times. I've seen something that looks cool, and I don't even know what it is, but it's only $5. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't I buy it? You know, it's like, it's just, it's that consumer zombie that we've been programmed with that just tells us, dude, it's a sale, like, it's a deal. You have to take advantage of this deal. You know, even if you don't need it. It's like, and that's the one thing that, like, slowly, and I'm still fighting it to even today. I'm still fighting it,
right?
Where it's like there's something in me going, I need to do that. I need to do that. Why wouldn't you do that? But then I'm like, well, I don't really got money like that. Like, I can't just be throwing money, even if it is a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't got it like that right now. So I probably shouldn't do that, you know, because I'll regret it come next month when the bills start rolling in again. You know, what's funny, I talked to this lady today who was talking about how her son worked in she worked in retail before. She said that this was, you know, years ago when she was, you know, a little older lady, but she worked in retail, and she said she remembers back when they used to do prizes for the first 200 people on Black Friday. This was back when it was still on Friday. You know what I'm saying? And they used to do door prizes for the first 200 people. And she said, you know, they ended up having to stop it. And it wasn't even, I guarantee you, it wasn't even because the business wanted to stop it. It was because the police and everybody said, you got to stop it. It got to the point where people realize, okay, I'm going to Black Friday, I'm going to get a sale in the store, and I'm also going to get a surprise or deal on something extra if I'm within the first 200 people. So you had, like, have you seen, I posted a picture up on my Facebook of this. They showed a picture of Black Friday. They showed a picture of the Dawn of the Dead movie where the zombies are posted up against the wall of the window. They showed zombies posted up against the window trying to claw their way through the window. And then next to that picture, they showed a picture of Black Friday. And you see pictures of people up against a window trying to get into the door of the establishment, waiting for them to open the door. And it looks exactly like the zombie picture. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she said, she was like, it was back when they were doing this, and it got to the point where the guy, the security guy, whoever, would go open the door, and once he unlocked that door, it was like these people like exploded through the door because you had to be the first 200 people in. If you were within that first 200, you got that extra thing. And she's like, people were hurting each other, stepping on each other, running over each other, fighting just to be within that first 200. You know, it was like, it was bad, and they got to the point where they had to stop it. They couldn't because someone was going to die. Yeah, and it's like, how do we completely forego the whole aspect of the idea of Thanksgiving? You know what I'm saying? You spend that whole morning, you know, some families, they spend all day cooking, and you know, my memory of Thanksgiving was always like, you know, you spend all day cooking, so you're in the house, you got family coming over, and you're chilling, you know, and your moms and grandmoms and all that's in the kitchen, you smell the food, and you're chilling with your cousins and shit, and it's all like, yo, what's up, son? Playing video games, watching, the sports on TV, and you know what I'm saying? So it's this huge communal family thing that feels awesome. You know what I'm saying? You're just kind of chilling. You know, you're eating a little bit leading up to dinner.
You're taking a break from normal life.
Yeah, it's just
something.
Not
worried about work or anything like that.
It's something so homely about it. You're chilling with your friends. You might go over to your boy's crib and chill with him for a little bit. And you know what I'm saying? How do you forego that? You do that all day. And then come 6 o'clock, it's like, all right, I gotta put my war paint on, and I gotta go in here to get me a fucking Xbox. If I gotta punch a bitch in the face to do it, I'm gonna do it, son, because I need that Xbox for $200. You know what I'm saying? It's like, really?
Well, you know, what you're making me think of is, I don't know if we should call it the counter to Black Friday, but anytime Apple releases a new phone. It seems to me that you have that still craven attitude that I need to get this. Even if you have the latest one, you need to get the new one because you have some real devoted Apple fanatics out there, zombies or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But they will post up online in a neat and orderly way and camp out and wait patiently. And there's not the same thing. Yeah. You know, I kind of, just as an aside, I kind of crack up when I see people with iWatches because, maybe it's the fact that I'm, more traditional, I'm more old school. I like a nice timepiece. I like a nice quality old school timepiece,
Yeah.
What I mean? But I see people with the iWatches, and essentially the iWatch is buffering, it's supposed to buffer time between the next phone. So they just came out with the 6. They cornered the market. Apple is doing well. And of course, in true capitalistic form, you need to keep producing more profits every quarter for your shareholders.
Yeah.
Even though you're doing well, you still need to producing more. So they probably sat back and said, how could we release something in the meanwhile that it's going to be a little while before we release the next phone, and we don't want to release the new phones every 3 months because that's going to lose the value of the phone. That's going to lose that mystique. Because part of the reason that people line up for hours and hours overnight to get the new phone is, that wonder of the new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The new phenomenon, So let's come up with an idea that essentially serves the same purpose of your phone, but on your watch. And the marketing scheme for that cracked me up because I'm like, this is so funny. Now they're trying to convince people that you need this iWatch because it's more convenient than your phone. And I'm like, what's more convenient than a cell phone that probably, if it wasn't in your pocket, if you didn't feel for it, you would lose it. Technology has developed you remember rotary phones and all that. You remember the first cell phone in those 80s movies that they're huge, right?
The bricks, yeah.
We have computers in our pockets that can do anything, that was undreamable. Like on some, like the Jetsons are here type shit.
Yeah.
We don't put the research and development dollars into, bettering our food or, our basic health as a society or, our education system that we were talking about before. But, this private company, which has cornered the market essentially, has come up with the perfect product, right? This phone or whatever. And, computers first and then, whatever else they thought about. And now it's the iPhone is their biggest draw. And it's the opposite of the Black Friday phenomenon. Because Black Friday is sort of like who are they catering to? Who are they marketing to psychologically to make them act crazy versus Apple? Who are they marketing to? Who are they catering to that you have to be first in line? That's the whole thing. I got to get there first in line. So you have people camped out overnight, and there's not this, like, when the door opens, it's not this huge, like, people getting knocked over and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
it's very organized. It's a lot more organized and a lot more civilized.
Yeah.
And what you were talking about before just had me thinking about that.
Well, it's like the Apple situation is no different than like your Star Wars person. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that are going to be standing in line for the Force Awakens is the same thing like an Apple's, like what we call Mac heads. You know what I'm saying? Your average Mac head is almost no different than your average Trekkie or your average Star Wars, fanatic. And most of those people in both those genres, most of the Trekkies and most of the Star Wars people, more so Trekkies than Star Wars people, but are probably in the Apple as well. I mean, Star Wars people, you probably get more PC heads and more Android people, to be honest with you. But either way, it'll be the same situation. Like the people standing in line for Force Awakens, they'll be standing in line. They'll be there. They'll camp out a day before, but they'll be nice. They'll be cordial. They'll be neat. They'll have their shit together. You know what I'm saying? They'll be ready to go. And it's all calm and collected. Same thing with the Apple. It's like releasing a new movie. When the new Apple comes out, it's like releasing a new movie of Star Wars. It's the same fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing about like what you were talking about releasing things to buffer in between phones. I had a conversation with my friend Chad about this because he's a Mac head just like I am, and one of the things we thought about, or we realized, you got to think about it. They had this whole Apple iPhone or the Apple the iWatch. This iWatch thing has been sitting and ready to go for years. You know what I'm saying? Like you probably go back 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and you could probably go into one of their offices and they got a whiteboard, and it's probably a huge whiteboard, and they got year by year by year by year or quarter by quarter what they're gonna put out, and they've already got the tech situated. They've already created it. They've already got the new iWatch 6. You know what I'm saying, on the research floor right now. They're researching and developing it. You know, they've already created it. They look at it and go, okay, we need to quarterly, like you said, put out certain things quarterly to keep things coming in, to keep the money going, to keep the people interested. But the technology has been there for years. So, you know, we look at the iWatch and say, yo, this is some new shit that just dropped. It's like, nah, Apple created that shit 2-3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They just been waiting to push it out. They already got the iPhone, like we're on the iPhone 6, the 6S. You know what I'm saying? The next year the iPhone 7 comes out. They already got the iPhone 8 or 9. They probably already mapped that shit out. They probably already got prototypes of the 8. They've already figured that shit out. They just might have to make do a little bug fixes. They've already got that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than this situation that we're doing right now. I'm recording. I was thinking about it today. I'm like, okay, I can record this on Tuesday and I can post it on Wednesday. Or I can record this on Tuesday of this week and I can post it on Wednesday of next week and record a new episode of Tuesday of next week and do it that way. So that way I'm recording a week ahead of when I post, so I'm constantly ahead. You know what I'm saying? So if I record today and post tomorrow, then I'm going to be constantly if I record today, then tonight I'm going to have to work on this tonight just to post it tomorrow. But if I record it today and post it Wednesday, I got all this week to work on it and research what I want to do for next Tuesday. It's the way that TV shows record. You know what I'm saying? When they record whatever they're recording this week from Sunday to Sunday, they're posting will be on next week's show. And then next week, while you're watching that episode, they're already recording the following week's show. And so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So
that makes sense.
You plan that shit out weeks, years ahead. Like they're if you walked into the deep fucking rooms of Apple, you see some shit that probably blow your fucking mind. Like, what the fuck is that? And then it's like, oh, that's not for 3-4 years from now, buddy. You won't even see that in the market for 3 or 4 years from now, man. You don't even look in that direction. You know, because that's how you make sure your money's coming in. We make sure we're going to stay on top of this if we plan this shit out years ahead and we just give it to the people little by little, teaspoons. You know what I'm saying? And they think they're getting the newest shit when really they're still behind. You know, because the government's going to use it first. The top-notch shit the government gets first. Right. That's how that always works. Right. You've seen the clips of the newest TV upgrades. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen that? I think it's either LG or Samsung. They're coming out with new bendable televisions, new bendable flat screen TVs. They're I forgot what it's called, but it's TV. You know, like you can look it up, and it's like if you were to be looking at a flat screen 60-inch television. You know what I'm saying? But when you walked up to the side of that TV and you looked at it from the side, you know, your average flat screen TV right now might be 1 inch thick. You know what I'm saying? You look at this new TV and it's less than 1 inch thick. Like, it's probably no thicker than your thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? But you can bend it. So, like, if you wanted to put that bitch in the corner of your room, you can bend it. You know how they got the new TV now that's on an arc? I actually
have seen these before. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about that, like, they went from regular flat screen TVs. Last year, they started posting out the new TVs that are on the arch, where it's got the arch, it's got a natural arch to it. That started last year or the year before. The end. I think it was the Christmas of 2013. I think is probably when they started putting those out. Now, this year, they started talking about, they're not out yet, but this year they started posting it up because they have those conventions where you can go and do the technology conventions. They usually have them in Vegas and stuff where you can see all the new tech coming out. And they're showing these new TVs that are these flat panels. They're like as big as, you know, like paper thin and all that stuff. And you can bend this huge television. You can bend it and roll it up like a freaking poster, you know, and it's a television. The funny thing about all that technology, the same technology they use for the Samsung phone, they got the Samsung phone now where the screen wraps around the side of the phone. That's one of those kinds of screens where it's bendable. But this technology was out in Japan back in the late 90s.
Stop it.
Yeah,
come on.
Back in the late 90s. I saw this shit. I've seen this technology already. You know what I'm saying? This shit was in Japan in the late 90s, son. I remember people telling me they had Coke cans. You can go buy a Coke can, and they wrapped around the Coke can or something was it was like tape. It was like a sticker, like sticker tape, and you could take the sticker tape and unroll it, and you can tape it onto whatever surface you wanted, and it'd be a little LCD screen, and it'd play stuff. But it was like little sticker tape. Like it was no different than sticker. Like or like
that's insane.
Yeah, like a roll of tape.
Insane.
You know, Japan had that shit years ago, and we're just starting to get it here in America. Right. You know, but we don't think about that shit because a lot of people don't look. They don't pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Right.
Obviously, the internet is blowing up. You know, people are starting to pay attention. But yeah, that kind of stuff, man. That shit was been out forever ago. We're just starting to get.
Well, listen, I definitely learned something new today because that's crazy, man.
But one, let's see, there was a couple things I had written down real quick that I wanted to throw at you. I was watching this. You ever watch this show on? You probably never watched it on MTV. I watch it because it's funny as fuck. It's called Girlcode.
I've heard of it. Yeah. It's like Guy Code, but
they have Guy Code and they have Girl Code. I watch both, but to be honest with you, Girl Code ends up being a lot funnier than Guy Code. Like I'm watching Girl Code.
I've never actually seen Girl Code.
That shit is fucking hilarious. Like these girls are hilarious, and a lot of the shit they talk about it, the way they talk about it is funny as hell. But it came on early today, the new season, and I was just watching it, and I was like, they touched on something that I thought was kind of interesting, and I wanted to get your perspective on it. They were talking about like girls, having to like they're talking about that time of your life if you ever get into that situation where you end up having to move back home. And they're talking about how that sucks and how to deal with moving back home and being in your mom's house again, that kind of shit. And they brought up something which I thought was interesting. Is like guys never really have a problem with women who still live at home with their family. But if a woman finds out that a man is living home with his family, it's an automatic deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker. Yeah.
Automatic. Like they don't even. It's like they would most of the time won't even give you a chance to tell them what went wrong or if something happened or what the situation is. It's like automatically panties are dry. Done. You know what I'm saying? So like I heard them there talk about. I was like, that's some true shit. It's true. It is dead honest true. Any girl that tells you it's not is a fucking liar. You know what I'm saying? It's dead honest truth. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I wrote that down on my phone because I was like, oh yeah, I gotta bring this up to Sean and see what he says about this. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think it's some true shit. But what do you think about that?
There's so much to unpack in that. But all right. It comes down to me. It comes down to social conditioning.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But it's not true in all cases. Where this is one of those topics, and again, Girl Code and Guy Code is one of these shows that they make such generalized statements that you can't help but go along with it and laugh at it.
It's meant to be funny.
True, but
it's meant to be funny.
It's not true in all cases. I mean, there are some very open-minded and compassionate people out there, but for the most part, if we're generalizing, I would say that men and women are socialized and conditioned differently from the time they were young, for the most part. And, nowadays, people are trying to sort of break up that norm, so to speak, and we're trying to get, more gender aware and gender neutral in the way we raise children. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, even though I respect it. But again, I'm entitled to my own personal opinion.
Of course.
But from the time guys are young and girls are young, we sort of. Again, my question to this point is this just evolutionary? Is it something that we need to embrace and not question? Does it go back to the, hunter-gatherer society? You know what I mean? But, men are deeply ingrained, for the most part, generally speaking, men are ingrained to be the providers and to be self-sufficient. And women, for the most part, generally speaking, are taught to be like, more emotional and dependent, and you need to find a good husband to take care of you. And a lot of that conventional wisdom has been undone, which I think wisely so, because women are brilliant and self-sufficient in their own right. And again, getting back to the education thing, I think the more educated our women are in society, the stronger society we have.
Yeah.
But there's still those remnants of those social norms that women, I don't know if it's biological or if it's, biological / instinctual, or is it more so socially ingrained in their mind? But women, for the most part, like a guy to be a strong person. Women are attracted to a man who is quote unquote strong, at least strong enough to deal with them.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the big tough guy or anything, but when I say strong, like you have a head on your shoulders. You know where you're going in life. You're set up. You're not living on your parents' house.
Yeah.
Women sort of slide by because women, for the most part, have had to fight for a lot of their opportunities that they're taking advantage of right now. So you still have women who are sort of part of this new guard, which they're like, I'm college educated, I got my own career, I don't need a guy, it would be nice to have one, but I could take care of myself and my own family. You have some women who are like, I'm okay with being the second, the secondary in the household. I'm okay with giving my guy the biggest piece of chicken. Like that's my man. He's head of the household. I'm okay with taking that step back. There's nothing wrong with both, because it depends on people's personalities and again culture that sort of influence those personalities as well. But for the most part, it's absolutely true. And women would agree with you that while they want to be educated and make good money and provide a good living for themselves, they still want a man at least on their level or higher.
Yeah.
And I don't know, again, and with men, looking at the men on the other side of that, I know a lot of statistics and polls have been given for this, but how many men are really comfortable? If they're being completely honest, they're comfortable with their women making more or just the amount of money, more money or just the amount as they are in terms of salary. And it's not to criticize a woman's earning potential, but if you're making the same amount of money as me, or you're making more money than me, then in my mind as a man, generally speaking, it's like, then who's the real breadwinner? I'm supposed to be the breadwinner. So that's a threat to me. And the woman, after a while, might look at that and say, well, man, maybe I can get a dude who's on my level because I'm earning a lot more than this guy. Let's face it, there are men who are completely comfortable with a woman, making more or the same amount of money as them. But for the most part, it's deeply ingrained that you're the man, you should be head of the household, you should be on a certain level by a certain point. And unfortunately, like you said, man, women dry up when they hear like certain trigger situations ward them off to the fact that this dude doesn't have his act together.
Yeah. Even if it's not that.
That's basically what that symbolizes.
Yeah, even if it's not the case. I mean, there could be so many reasons for why you moved back home.
So many different factors. I mean, this dude could be saving up to buy a house, and he realized this is a good strategy, and he has like $50K on a down payment already.
Yeah.
And he's just staying with his parents so he could get 20 more K, and then he's gonna buy a real nice house.
Yeah.
And
then you fucked up.
Parents, he's like, nah,
and then you fucked up.
You ain't worth it, right?
You know what I'm saying? Then you fucked up because you didn't decide, oh, this nigga ain't worth shit, but he got $50K in the bank. He got a good job. You didn't get that far. You didn't even let the dude talk long enough to let you know what it's really about. So you just X'd him out the conversation automatically when you found out he was living home with mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, the dude driving a nice car, you got a good job, you about to buy a nice house. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But it's like the moment you hear that, you know what I'm saying, you excommunicate the dude, you know, and it's like the girl on the girl on the show,
go ahead,
the girl on the show, she said it herself. She's like, as a female, the first thing you're thinking when you find out that a guy's living at home with his parents is you think, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
what happened?
Yeah, what happened to him? What's wrong with him? Why is he living at home with his parents? That's the first thing you think as a girl. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why is something gotta be wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you said,
I think for the most part too, women don't want a lot of drama with a guy. You know what I mean? They like to have that sort of stability and security. I think security is a big turn on for women. Yeah. If you exude that, or if you've managed to provide that even for yourself in life, it means that we will be secure together. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side of that too is, can we really blame women? Because again, a lot of men have taken advantage of that type of situation where, you know, a woman might be empathetic to you and say, well, I'll give him a try. We're pretty compatible or whatever. He's a cool guy. And, you know, the guy ends up like taking advantage of them or you know, conning them out of some dollars, you know, or you know, having multiple women that are pretty much substituting his way of, you know, sustaining his way of life.
Yeah.
And you know, some women get really scorned and burned by that, and they, you know, the message carries out like, yo, these guys are fucking, they're scumbags. Like, don't trust them because you don't want to be manipulated or taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, women are justified into thinking that. But, you know, in everything that we talk about here, man, which is so cool, is there's so many different sides to so many different points of view to the story.
Oh, of course.
It's not just one set thing, you know, and that's the cool part about shows like Guy Code and Girl Code too, because they're good conversation starters too.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
that's exactly
you
what they
talk
should
about them, you know, all day if you want.
Yeah, that's exactly what they should be. You know, and that's one reason why I like the show, because that's exactly what it should be. They wrap it up in comedy, which is good because it makes it easier to take in. You don't feel like you're being preached to. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know, you can learn something. I mean, you might not think you could, but as a dude watching Girl Code, you could learn something. You might see a perspective that you didn't see before. Or you might hear a girl say something, and then you go talk to your girlfriend about it. Go, hey, I heard this was kind of funny, and then she clues you into some shit that you didn't know about before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay, I never thought about it that way. So yeah, like you said, it's a conversation starter. It opens up doors to talk, even while laughing, and you could learn something.
Yeah.
You know, so people write these things off as, yeah, whatever. They're stupid little funny shows, but anything that opens the door for communication, you know, is the things that we should be looking at, positive or negative. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sucks, but you know, not all communication has to be positive all the time. Sometimes, like you were talking about earlier, sometimes a good debate needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? But as long as each person on each side is open to letting the other person express themselves, you know, and seeing that there's a chance that this person might show me something that I haven't seen before, even though I do believe I believe what I'm saying, but he might say something that I might not have known about. You know what I'm saying? And I might go, damn, I didn't think about it that way. So I'm gonna give him the opportunity to say it. You know, which is the thing. That the
worst thing that you can do is to get in a conversation with a person that just is stuck in a certain belief or whatever, and you can't tell them anything differently. And even with, you know, softer topics such as, you know, the girl code topic, you know, you get in a conversation with a woman who's like, oh no, like I refuse to even consider a guy like that. A guy like that is just trash. Like, he should have got his stuff together. Like, come on, you know, that's not necessary. You know, there are many different sides to this, and it's like you're saying, you can make the case, and we can make the case that probably that guy's just doing that temporarily. Maybe they moved in to take care of their mother. You know, maybe he had a house that he was living in. He sold that house, got a whole bunch of money from that sale to move in with his mother and to take care of her. I mean, there's many different versions of the story, and
Exactly.
The moment that you cut things off from the very beginning, it's like, you're limiting growth, so to speak, or you're limiting your opportunity to learn something new about somebody.
Exactly. And also, you never know which way the cookie crumbles. You can judge somebody 1 minute, and then it could be a month, a year, 2 years. Shit happens, and you're in that person's situation. You would want somebody.
You're exactly in the same situation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you would want somebody to give you the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Because because shit happens to you doesn't make you less of a person. You know what I'm saying? So you could have everything going for you. You can be the most fiscal person. You could be a responsible person, and shit just happens sometimes. And sometimes it has to happen for us. Sometimes we need to be knocked a couple steps back before we can take more steps forward. But just because I've been knocked back a couple steps doesn't mean you should look at me any less. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm still on the up and coming, motherfucker. Don't think anything different. Just because I might have to take a couple steps back don't mean I'm not coming up. You know what I'm saying? So you can choose to judge me that way if you want to, but you'll be one of those people that won't be around when I'm shining. That's all it is.
That's right.
That's
right.
But unfortunately, like you said, I mean, it's a lot of people, especially women, in this day and age, men have taken advantage of women so much that they've been, put into this position where they feel like they need to look for a dude that doesn't have certain things, certain flags that pop off. He's still living at home. Flags, he's still living at home with mom, or that automatically means he's going to be living on my couch. You know what I'm saying? Mooching off of me. You know what I'm saying? That's what that means, automatically. Right. It's like, no. That's not what that means. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's what your last boyfriend did don't mean that's what I'm going to do. So, take a moment, talk to me, get to know me, you'll realize that. But, first flag goes off automatically, the panties dry up, they don't want to talk to you no more. They kind of give you the whole, that's nice, and I'll talk to you later, kind of bullshit. But like, well, damn, you didn't give me. Yo, I was talking to this chick. I don't even know if you might not know her. She's somebody from Orlando. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she went to Lake Howell with us. I don't think she did, actually. No, she didn't go to Lake Howell with us. But she's somebody in Orlando. She runs in the clique of people that we know in Orlando. Probably a lot of people that we know from high school. And I had her on my friends list. You know what I'm saying? She's a Latin female, very pretty. And I was talking to her on Facebook, and she posted something, and I made a comment, and it was definitely one of those situations. I'm not even gonna lie about this. I'm gonna put it straight up out there. I'm gonna say it the way it is. She's a good-looking girl. You know how guys are. Girls will post a picture. That's what she did. She posted a picture of herself, a selfie. And dudes, you know how we are. Yo, you were so beautiful. Oh my God, girl. Yo, oh baby, you so beautiful. Oh, blah blah. You know what I'm saying? And all they're just taking them accolades and thank you. Yes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm just gonna see what happens. And so I posted something. I can't even remember what I posted, but I posted something really vague. Like, I didn't post, yeah, you're so beautiful, blah, 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 blah. I posted something that was like 1 or 2 words, and it was vague as fuck. And it was real, just like out there, like nothing like, oh, you're beautiful, oh, you're, it's just like, it's just something real off.
Do you remember exactly what it was?
Damn, I can't remember, man. Like, I wish I'd thought about this earlier. I'd have looked it up, because I'm sure I can look it up on her page and figure it out. But, it was just something along the lines of like, it wasn't dickish, but it was kinda. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. It was just kind of like it basically touched on the fact that yes, you're pretty, but like kind of one of those situations. And literally minutes after I posted it, she responded. Like, I've posted to her pictures before. I've said things on her pictures before. Oh, pretty. Oh, you're very pretty. You know what I'm saying? But the moment I said some shit that wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like everybody else being like, yo, you're beautiful. It was just kind of like, You know what I'm saying? She posted back, what do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, now the communication's opened up now, all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what do you mean? What do I mean? Well, it was just what you said. It was interesting, but it was just kind of vague. Like, I'm intrigued now, is what she said. I'm intrigued now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're intrigued now. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Now you're intrigued. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of chatted back and forth for a couple minutes, and then literally, dude, She's in Orlando right now. Literally, she found out that I wasn't living in Orlando. Like, I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm not in Orlando anymore. I got, she knows I was from, lived in Orlando, moved away, did my traveling, whatever. I told her, yeah, I'm trying to get back into Orlando come the beginning of the year. Conversation stopped. Conversation stopped, son. Done. No, like literally, she was like, "Oh, so you don't live in Orlando right now?" I'm like, "Nah, but I'm planning on being back there a couple months or whatever, And like, done. Conversation stopped. Like, she didn't want to talk to me anymore.
Wow.
And like, I was literally like, I'm like, okay, I understand that you don't want to get into a long distance relationship. I'm not saying we need to get into a relationship. We just started talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we just keep talking and just get to know each other, and then see what happens, where it goes. Nah, she didn't want nothing to do with it. She didn't want to talk. She didn't want to get to know me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, you make it seem like it was so abrupt that she cut off communication that maybe she was burned by something like that before.
Yeah, but explain it then. Is what my thing is. Explain. Listen, I just got out of a long-term relationship, or I had a dude long-term, he burned me bad. I'd be like, yo, I completely understand. But what I'm telling you was what I was trying to say to her in the beginning. Is like, I'm not asking you for a relationship. We just started talking. Like, how did we go? How did we go from our first communication to talking about relationships? You know what I'm saying? Like, we just started talking.
Well, maybe also, I'm not saying this is what it was, but maybe she got what she wanted. Like, her intrigue was answered, because it seems to me that you sort of question. A lot of people post stuff for social media for their own personal validation.
Yeah, of course.
Not to say all people do that. It's fun to see different people, posting stuff or whatever, pics and everything like that. But I mean, one could make the argument that the selfie is really, self-aggrandizement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing it for attention. You look good. You want to see what people's reactions are. You want to get 50 likes.
Yeah.
And you questioned that. You stirred the pot a little bit, and that had her intrigued. And maybe after speaking to you, gaining a certain amount of information, that intrigue was quenched, if you will, and she didn't feel like she needed to invest herself anymore in the conversation. That could be a possibility.
Well, literally, like, the intrigue grew. Like, we talked, and the intrigue was growing. Like, everything I said worked for her. Like, she was loving every bit of it. She was eating it up, son. And the moment I told her I didn't live in Orlando is when it stopped. Like, and it wasn't even a gradual stop. It was like, she would say something, I would respond to her, she would respond right back. It was like we were back and forth, tit for tat, and she kept saying, "Oh, very intriguing. Oh, I'm liking what I'm hearing. Literally, I'm liking what I'm hearing. I'm very intrigued. I like this. Oh, blah 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 blah. Maybe we should get together. You know what I'm saying?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not in Orlando right now. Where are you?" And I told her that I'm not living in Orlando right now, and then the conversation was dead. Like, I had to text her back like 2 times, like, "Hey, where'd you go?" You know what I'm saying? And like before, and like literally, I had to text her a couple times for her to even give me an answer. Like, she didn't immediately say, "Oh, I'm so blah, blah, blah." No, she just stopped texting, and then like I'm texting back going, like, what just happened? And then she was like, "Oh, well, I don't know about a long distance relationship thing," and I'm like, "Well, I understand. I'm not asking you for a relationship. I'm just."
So she eventually did tell you that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she eventually told me the long distance thing doesn't appeal to me, and I'm like, "Well, that's cool. I'm not asking you for a relationship. Why can't we just talk and get to know each other? Let's just get to know each other." Is what I said.
Right.
And then she just didn't answer me again. Period. From that point, it was done.
Yeah.
So I stopped, I stopped texting her, but she still likes my pictures and things that I post, and she's still on my friends list or whatever. And I'm like looking at her going, I should delete your ass, but I'm not. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm not gonna be an ass about it and get angry and shit, but I should delete your ass. Like, I don't understand like how you conducted yourself that way. But then she just reverts back to where we were before the conversation even started. Which was just Facebook friends, or Facebook, not even friends as far as I'm concerned, Facebook acquaintances, where she just likes shit that she sees on my page. That's where we're back to now. But it was so weird to me. It was like, how the hell did we it was like a straight.
Well, I think people have their reasons, but
Yeah.
maybe in a certain instance you dodged a big bullet too. So.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know I did. I know I did. I mean, it does suck because she was gorgeous, but you know, I know something happened. It happened the way it needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? I still think it's kind of fucked up. I'm sure it goes into some whole other thing that we kind of touched on about the psychology of the society as it is, the whole Facebook thing. I mean, that could be a whole other hour and a half long conversation.
That's another topic for another
you know what I'm saying?
That's a whole nother show. Right?
Yeah. I mean, how Facebook has changed the psychology of relationships and shit. I guarantee you, there's something into that was part of that conversation, the way it went down the way it did. I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But as intriguing as it is, it's like, whatever, man. It's like I don't know what to do with women on the internet.
You just have to catch the next train, brother.
Yeah, and jump in front of it. Damn women, what I tell you. All right, man. Well, I mean, we're at an hour 30. I think that's pretty good. A good place to stop for today. Real quick, let me put this out there. Let me have you at least tell people who you are and give them a little kind of idea of what obviously I know who you are. I mean, we grew up together. We met in high school, and we went to high school together, and we've pretty much been family ever since. I guess, a little idea of your background as far as, what you study and what you're into. Just, you can round it up just so that way it kind of gives people an idea of, where you're coming from with what you're saying and how your perspective on things.
Right. Well, you're supposed to give me a nice introduction, brother. You're supposed to,
the nice
talk
introduction,
about my credentials and everything.
Nice. This
is raw. This is raw dog.
This
podcast.
This is my motherfucker Sean. We met back Lake Howe High School, Winter Park, Orlando, Florida. Back in the days when I was
what was that, 1990, 1991?
1992.
92.
When I was a freshman in high school, 92.
It's not those punks running around at that time.
Yeah. I was a little wet behind the ear, motherfucker. Didn't know no better, we've known each other ever since. But after a certain amount of, your junior year in high school, you left and went back to New York with your family, and so I stayed in Orlando, obviously. So, but we obviously stayed connected for quite a long time. I mean, shit, it's 1992. How many years is that? Good lord.
No, there's too many. Let's not even calculate that in short.
Yeah.
But just to sort of conclude that mild introduction, my background is originally Caribbean. I'm from Belize. My parents moved us to the U.S. when I was 3. I grew up in Brooklyn, the Bushwick section of Brooklyn, when it was not the nicest place in the world.
Yeah.
And around the time of me starting high school, my mother had this great idea to move to Florida, which is where we connected. Stayed there for 3 years, finished my senior year in Brooklyn because we moved back because of many different obstacles at the time. I ended up going to Purchase College in New York State, in Westchester County. Met a phenomenal group of people there who were like lifelong friends. I studied poli-sci. After school, after I graduated, I sort of worked professionally for a little while. And, I sort of, I'm one of those late bloomers, so I didn't really understand what my niche was or what a lot of my passions were. So I was lucky enough to get a job at the United Nations for a couple of years. And after that, I was teaching, I dabbled a little bit in to try to go into the business world. So I was doing mortgage banking for a little while. I got my real estate license in New York. Just making me think about all these different experiences I've had, right?
Okay.
I got into law, did my paralegal studies certificate, and got into law, and I've been sort of involved in many different law firms since then. I used to manage a law firm department in New York City for a little while. from at the same time towards the tail end of that, I was there for about 5 years. Towards maybe I would say the last 2 years, I started my master's study at the New School, studying urban policy, which a lot of people don't know what that is. It's just a mixture of, politics, economics, policy, with a concentration of urban environments or cities. So I have a little bit to go to finish that, but in between that, I moved down to Atlanta for a couple years, and then I moved out west to California for a couple years, and back in New York City now with plans to vacate this crazy place as soon as I can. So those, you could imagine that those experiences, I've encountered many different people from many different walks of life, from extra progressive liberal to ultra conservative to in the middle, in between, and different ethnicities, different races, cultures, and it's been cool, man. It's been cool. I love to have these type of conversations. We've been having these type of conversations for, I don't know, decades. Right? So, which sort of segues into, just the last thing. I want you to get the last word, because I'm really appreciative and humbled that you would ask me to, be the first, I guess, guest on this project you're doing. But just, I respect you and I got great love for you, man. I think you're one of the great creative minds that I've encountered, in my lifetime. A lot of what you do has been self-taught, and it's just phenomenal and of high quality, And I'd just like to know, like, what inspired you or motivated you to sort of do this, to embark on this type of endeavor, so to speak.
This recording situation right now that we're doing this project, for me, and I guess for those people who don't know who I am, and I'll definitely put more audio in on that a little bit later in post-production. But for those people who don't know who I am, basically, I mean, I was born and raised in New York as well, up till middle school age, when I came to Florida, and finished out the second half of my middle school career, and then got into high school, where I met Sean and I met Frankie, who's another friend. It was the three of us mostly in the beginning. And I've always had a love for music, so my big thing was always music and art. And when meeting up with Sean and meeting up with Frankie, I kind of got more of a teaching, got deeper into music and learning more about music. And Frankie helped me, cut my chops into hip hop and rapping and writing and being creative, and so it just kind of took off for me, and after high school, did the high school thing, thought about going to college, wasn't gonna work for me. Ended up traveling as an entertainer and performer on cruise ships for about 10 years. That was kind of my college experience, and up till about 2012, until I came back, got off ships, came back home, or came off ships. Decided to come in and stay with my mom for a while. I hadn't seen my mom in probably 2-3 years before I came back in 2012. Since 2012, I've kind of been on a search, kind of a journey for what I was going to do. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like conversations me and you have all the time, it's all about creating my own source of income, becoming my own boss, creating my own business of sorts. Like, one of the things over time that I've learned is, if you're, and I guess it's not for everybody, so I'm not judging anybody, but if you're not trying to create your own business, you're what I'm saying, you're not doing as much as you could be doing, as far as your full potential is. For me personally, it was about creating my own business. Like, what is this going to be? You know what I'm saying? I do music, I do photography, I do graphic design, I write, anything that involves creativity and breathing life into something, that is my passion. And so it's like, okay, how do I figure that out? I spent, 2 years trying to figure it out. And right now, my passion is producing music. I work on my own projects as an artist, as an entertainer. And then it was recently, having conversations like this with you, having conversations like this with other friends that I will be doing recordings with as well. I have a serious group of friends that I can sit down and have these conversations with. And it just kind of made sense. Like, last week we had a conversation, and it just made sense. It kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, because I've been wanting to create a YouTube channel for myself, but I wasn't sure what the content was going to be about or how I was going to present the content. And it wasn't until we were having this conversation last week that I kind of realized, like, wait a second, this could kind of be how I present this content, like in doing it in this way, using this way to kind of help facilitate. This is not going to be the only way I present content. I'm going to have other ways of presenting content on my channel, as well as doing a podcast. But this was, I think, the way I got started. And one of the things that I thought about in the last conversation that we had was, it's the main thing about doing what you want to do in life is getting started. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can sit back and you can think about it day in and day out. You can plan it day in and day out. You can prepare for it day in and day out. But until you take that first step and actually do something, actually create some kind of product, even if it's shitty product, you know what I'm saying, the first time out, you have to actually create something. You actually do it. Because if you're not doing it, you're just sitting back dreaming about it. You can have the best idea in the world, but until you take the first step and actually making it happen, you're never going to get to the end result. So it was like, I'm the kind of person where I'm very analytical. I think a lot. Sometimes I think too much, and I'll sit and overthink something until I'm blue in the face, and I'll have the best ideas in the world. I can come up, I'm an idea man. I can come up with ideas, out of thin air that are great ideas, and I have journals full of ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like inventions and ideas and things. And that was one of the things that I took away from reading a lot of Nostradamus and Leonardo da Vinci and all that stuff. I love writing my ideas down and having little sketch pads of things. But it's like, if I'd never take any of those things and actually try and make something, breathe life into it, all they'll ever be is just sketches on a pad. So that was the thing. From the last conversation we had last week, it was like, I need to take the first step. I need to do something. It doesn't matter what it is. I need to do something. So I need to just record. I need to just do what we normally do. We sit here and have these conversations. I think they're interesting conversations. I think they're interesting topics. There's got to be other people out there that feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? And even if the first recording isn't the best, the second recording isn't the best, it's all a learning experience, and it's all going to take me into where I need to be. So it was like, cool, I'm just going to do it, And for me, like when we had our last conversation, for me, it was the hardest thing was figuring out what it is I could do that I was passionate about that didn't feel like a job. Because for me, it has to not feel like a job. If it feels like a job, I don't want to do it. It has to feel like, it has to just be what I enjoy doing. It has to be natural. And it was like sitting and talking to you and sitting and talking to some of my other friends. It's natural. I don't have to think too hard about it. And we have funny conversations. We'll sit here and laugh our asses off about shit. So I'm like, well, if it's funny to us, then it's got to be funny to other people. So why not record it, you know what I'm saying, and build off of that, And I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. And when it finally made sense for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, why haven't you done this sooner? So yeah, the goal is to create a YouTube channel, do some video content, as well as a podcast like what we're doing now, and have some podcast content, and to build off of that. And this for me is step one right now. Today is the first step. This recording and this podcast, and starting from here. And hopefully, I know I'll do more recordings with you. I'll do more recordings with other friends, and we'll talk about more crazy and fun shit, and hopefully we'll just get better. Not even hopefully, it will. Absolutely. Get better. It will get better. Because it has.
Absolutely. And it's fun, they're fun conversations too. And some of them might be, coming up in the future, it might be a more sensitive topics or whatever, but, we'll always try to find that element in it where it's constructive. And, well said, brother. I think I speak for a lot of people who eventually will hear or witness some of your work and say that, I can't wait for the next one.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for working with me on this first one, and we'll definitely do it again. If you think of any topics, any things that you want to talk about, then, hit me up and we'll plan to do it again, hopefully real soon. All
right.
And let's keep doing
Sounds
it,
like a plan.
All right,
Let's keep it going.
Thank you to Mr. Sean Anthony. Thank you to anybody who's listening, and hopefully you heard something that you enjoy and want to come back and check more stuff out. And I'll definitely be putting more stuff together, more podcasts and more content, like I said before. I will be putting this together under my webpage and under my YouTube #HASHTAGGEDU account. So come check out the hashtag page. It's a pop culture page about all kinds of things, from video games to politics to whatever that's interesting. Hopefully we'll do more cool stuff, man. People will come and check us out.
Most definitely.
Anything you want to leave people with real quick?
No, I think it was a good conversation, and I look forward to the future, man.
Well,
because I'm sure that this is America. There's always some wild stuff.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? Well, the last thing that I always wanted to do was I always wanted to leave on a quote, get people to think, and I guarantee this is a quote that's going to leave you thinking too. I think you'll like this quote because I'm real big about quotes. I love quotes and I collect them basically. But this quote that I saw the other day, which I thought was kind of cool, and it says, "Children begin by loving their parents. When they get older, they judge them. Sometimes they forgive them," by Oscar Wilde. I thought that was.
See, that's just another conversation.
I thought that was some deep shit right there. So we're gonna leave it on that, man.
On that note.
Yes, sir.
Exit stage left.
All right, man. We'll talk again soon, and we'll keep this shit moving.
All right, it's been a pleasure, bro.
All right, man. Later.